To now, as the class of 2017 will be announced later today. It seems like this year, and Richard, I know you voted for both Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens, correct?
Yeah, I did, and I did not last year, but it was no moral or ethical statement on my part. I believe they're Hall of Famers. They were Hall of Famers before they did. You look at Rogers' career in Boston. I think it was top 5 in Cy Young voting 7 times in 9 years. He was a Hall of Famer. And you look at Barry, before Barry Bonds added the slabs of muscle, he was already on his way to 500 home runs and 3 MVPs or something like that. And slam dunk. But the problem is this generation of players is vastly, dramatically underrepresented in the Hall of Fame. And there are so many guys that I think belong in. Like Curt Schilling and Mike Mussina, I can't even believe we're having a conversation. On this ballot, there were 2 players better than Curt Schilling on the ballot. That would be Bonds and that would be Clemens. And at a time when there's more and better ways to evaluate a player's career, Jay Jaffe does great work, Bill James, others, our votes don't reflect that, and I think sometimes we don't transfer generations. Let me just talk about Schilling and Mussina. They pitched at a time when the ballparks got smaller, the players got bigger, the strike zone was the size of a postage stamp some nights, and they dominated. And I just think our Hall of Fame voting could be better. And in terms of steroids, like I can't look at a ballot and know who used and who didn't. I know those guys are the greatest players of their generation, and I vote for them.
All right, so what changed, Richard, in your mind? Why did you not include them on your ballot last year, but this year you did, and you're not the only one?
No, I think mine was more strategic, and I probably shouldn't have done it, but I voted, I think last year was Alan Trammell's last year on the ballot. I wanted Tim Raines to get in. I was worried that guys like Mussina might not even get enough votes to stay on the ballot, something like that. And I knew Barry and Clemens were not going to get in. So that's what I did. But I voted for them in the past and believe they belong in the Hall of Fame.
What would you say the chances are that Bonds and Clemens get into the Hall of Fame?
Well, they're inching in the right direction. And I think Schilling and Mussina are inching in the right direction, although Kurt's going to take a step back this year because of his idiotic tweet about lynching journalists and all that. So, it would be great today if we have 4 or 5 members. I think we all agree that Raines and Bagwell are going to get in. But if Vlad Guerrero, Trevor Hoffman, and Pudge Rodriguez, let's say, if they all get in, and they're all headed toward induction into Cooperstown, that would free it up because next year Chipper Jones is on the ballot, and then we can deal with guys like not just Guerrero, but Mussina, Larry Walker. Edgar Martinez is part of this conversation because, look, DHs and closers are new positions in baseball. If we're going to have those positions, we have to represent them in the Hall of Fame, and that leads to Billy Wagner and Lee Smith. But Edgar hasn't gotten the votes because some voters look, hey, he didn't play defense, he's not that good. He's one of the great offensive players in the history of the game.